Dysautonomia. What's going on? I have a beyond a belief, founded in evidence too, that dysautonomia is at the root of the vast majority, or many of, the other chronic illnesses that we speak about here on this channel, such as fibromyalgia, FND, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, CFS, these sorts of issues. So anything in dys just means just like disorganized. Dysautonomia, disorganized functioning within the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system being the part of the nervous system which governs involuntary actions that we speak about a lot here. Sympathetic, parasympathetic being the two sides, and the vagus nerve being the main parasympathetic nerve in the body. So anything which dysregulates the normal fluctuations in the autonomic nervous system and takes it outside of its normal rhythm, almost like sinus rhythm in a heart, it was considered as dysautonomia. Now, trauma is something which will push us outside of the normal tolerances of that autonomic nervous system. Peter Levine and the somatic experiencing world, they have different categories like GEAR, global high intensity activation, different categories of how people present. Now, they're useful, but most people know I hate labels, and actually no person falls into any one category. I think to really understand what is happening in somebody's system and how it is uniquely happening in their system is much, much better, because then that allows for the uniqueness of you and your health issues. So I don't really like to categorize them, but we get some sense of, oh, I'm seeing this pattern occurring here during a consultation, or I'm seeing this pattern here. Understanding how the nervous system should work and what's going on when it doesn't, I believe is at the roots of a great deal of work with chronic illness. How might this look, and how might it present in certain situations, and how might that play out? Most of the organs of the body are controlled by the autonomic nervous system, the skin, the bowel. There's even a superimposed impact on heart rate. Yes, it's got its own sinus rhythm, but then whether it accelerates or decelerates is fundamentally under the control of the autonomic nervous system. So all of the organs in the body really, their what we call homeostasis in Western medicine or in Chinese medicine really is just yin and yang, is the polar opposites, can be seen as sympathetic and parasympathetic. The balance in the body is what we're talking about here. So if you're not fluctuating through, then you will cause maybe an altered circulation for too long, which might cause insufficient blood supply to go to a particular part of the body, or dryness in the skin, or eczema. In the bowel, fear, fight, flight responses, if they're stuck on, will mean that we're diverting blood away from the gut, sending messages saying don't digest food now, let's run away from the threat, and so pump blood to the heart, lungs, muscles to help us to get away. And so that's going to mean that short term that's perfectly normal and fine, but if it stays stuck on, then we're leaving the gut in a state where it's not able to rest and digest, as we might call it. Long term, that can lead to chronic inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis potentially. Of course, there are other causes, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs on a long-term basis have been shown to impact the gastrointestinal system. We know these things. So I'm not saying it's the only reason. Of course, there are other reasons, but it's a very big reason for something like chronic bowel disorders. Through also its connections in the PNIE system, watch other videos that I've done on that recently if you haven't seen it. It has a relationship with the hormone system and the immune system, and autoimmune type responses are very, very connected to dysregulation in the autonomic nervous system, because If the autonomic nervous system is dysregulated, it's going to say there's a threat. It will activate and increase the production of inflammatory cytokines, T lymphocytes, NK cells, messenger cells, various cells which occur within the body in response to threat and lack of safety. And so then we will create autoimmune problems. So really on it, pericarditis, Crohn's, even eczema, the list goes on of rheumatoid arthritis, even MS, arguably. Many of these things could be created by dysautonomia. Dysautonomia is going to have an impact in chronic inflammatory problems, autoimmune problems. It's going to lead to adrenal impacts through the hormone system and potentially adrenal fatigue. The autonomic nervous system, when dysregulated, is likely to create increased muscular tone, be associated with freeze responses in the body, which, at least in the exoskeleton and outer body, is likely to create muscular tension and chronic pain and chronic tension patterns within and holding patterns. Where if we look at it through a body psychotherapy lens, then armoring sometimes is what we would talk about. I was working with somebody yesterday and their pattern was here, and they even sort of said it's like an arm, it's the shape of a piece of armor. And then we did some work to be able to sort of change that and replace that, and shifts happened in their body when they were able to reduce the armoring, when the system felt safe, that I don't need that external armor. But the body puts it there as protection for a reason. And that's okay short term, but long term this will cause pain and tension. So dysautonomia is a really important thing to understand. And whatever dysregulates that, and this is where trauma comes in, because a traumatized nervous system is one which has overwhelmed the nervous system's ability to cope. That's the definition of trauma. And so that will lead to dysautonomia, and dysautonomia will lead to all the things that we've just spoken about in the way we've spoken about it. Hi, I'm Roger. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons.